probably one of the most important critical parts of how you're going to sustain through this, and it's leveraging partnerships to build a community. This is what supports you in a time of crisis. This is what's kept us going. Like, partners are critical. And so with that, first I'm going to highlight one of our great partners. Hawke Media is a Canadian digital commerce consulting and development agency with 22 years of success to draw from. Love our Canadian partners. We've had, what, 4 Canadian speakers today. Their key differentiators are the way they leverage open source technology, Drupal, their lack of licensing fees, and ability to create complex creative customizations for e-commerce companies. And so with that, building a brand is about creating a community based around an idea, a problem, a solution, and a product. See how our partners Klaviyo, Postscript, Trustpilot, and Very are getting creative and leveraging partnerships to grow their community to expand to new audiences and drive sales. Guys, for Hawke Media, for some of the people that I just named, this has been the #1 driver. If I had to point to success, it's partnerships. And so really figuring out how to align yourself with partners is critical. Can't wait to have these guys speak to how they've all been such great partners. And got to thank Jason, who's on this. You can't see it, but I just got a countertop Veridesk delivered to my door because we have them all over our office, but I've been craving one at home, and they just shipped over the mat and everything so I can actually set up the own office. So thank you, Jason.
Awesome. Glad to hook you up. Thanks, Eric.
Let you guys take it.
Awesome. Thank you for the introduction, Eric. As mentioned, I'm the VP of Partnerships at Hawke Media, and at Hawke, we partner with people, platforms, funds, and even other agencies just to deliver the best-in-class solutions and services for our clients. So if you're not already one of our partners, go ahead and shoot me a Slack message in the community, and I'd love to hear from you. We've had so many phenomenal takeaways today already. Some of my favorites were the Mooch SRO, stay on offensive, really brought to mind something that Scott Taylor, who we heard from on the Hawke team earlier, says all the time, which is like refuse to lose. So hopefully we'll have some awesome key takeaways here from everyone as well. I've already gone ahead and incorporated some of the things we heard today from the Female Titans panel we had earlier. Melissa mentioned the lipstick effect and showing up for yourself. So I went ahead and got some lipstick on for our panel. And Madeline from Gemis, she mentioned we should all try and add some sparkle to our day. So I'm actually wearing the new Gemis You're a Gem Huggies that she actually mentioned in her talk that they just launched. So you guys should check them out as well. They're a great brand. But here we have a number of phenomenal partners that we work with at Hawke Media on a regular basis. We have Ashley Hildreth, which is, she is the head of partnerships of the Americas at Trustpilot. Rich Gardner, the VP Global Strategic Partnerships at Klaviyo. Claire Goodall, who's the head of partnerships at Postscript, and Jason McCann, the CEO at Very. So we have 3 people on the platform side and 1 on the brand side. And I would love to give each of you an opportunity now just to give additional context what each of your different organizations do. So maybe if we could start with Ashley.
Hey, sure. Yeah, thank you for having us. So I'm the head of partnerships for Trustpilot, and I oversee the Americas. We are a global online customer review community. So we're a place where people can come to read or write reviews about their experiences with brands. And then for brands, we provide them with the tools to be proactive in that conversation, to invite their customers to leave them feedback and be able to manage and share that.
Awesome. Rich, did you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Rich Gardner. I'm the VP of Partnerships at Klaviyo. Klaviyo is an owned marketing platform. We help e-commerce businesses own their marketing by aggregating and segmenting customer data, personalizing content, and then delivering that content to their end customers via a variety of channels, primarily email and SMS. We are a Boston-based company, which is where I'm sitting and joining you from today. About 350 employees and 32,000 businesses.
Awesome. Claire?
Yeah, thanks for having us, Ashley and Eric. I'm head of partnerships at Postscript, and Postscript is an SMS marketing platform for e-commerce brands. So through Postscript, you can send campaigns, you can send automations such as abandoned carts. And not only do we integrate with Shopify, but also with tons of the other leading Shopify apps. So we integrate with Klaviyo, thanks Rich, Recharge, things like that. So just part of the omni-channel marketing tech stack.
Awesome. And last but not least, Jason on the brand side.
Yeah, so I'm Jason, CEO and co-founder of Very. So we've just updated our brand from Veridesk to Very, so excited. So we started with a desktop product, we've got over 3 million users worldwide, and now we create workspaces. A lot of them are now at home these days, but for workspaces that elevate people.
Great. Yeah, thank you everyone for providing that additional context. I think that'll add color to our conversation. So, and it'll make a lot more sense when you're answering these questions about partnerships and programs and how you guys structure them, if people at least understand from a business perspective what it is you actually do or provide. Otherwise, it's hard to understand how they can take that and incorporate it in their own business. So yeah, I think maybe we should start by talking about how each of your partner programs are set up and what types of partners you have. Claire, did you want to start with that question?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Ashley. So at Postscript, we have a variety of different partners. So we have marketing agencies that we work with, like Hawke Media. We have our tech partners, ones we integrate with, and just other solutions in the space. We also work with a number of investors, specifically investors in D2C brands, as well as influencers. So there's a ton of podcasters and e-com experts out there talking about Postscript. We're really grateful for them, consider them partners as well. I think something that makes our partnership program pretty unique is our dedication and resources that go towards education for marketers. So unlike email that's been around for 20 plus years, SMS is a new category. So it's really our duty at Postscript as partners to help equip our agency partners to become experts in this brand new channel so that they can help their clients really adopt this marketing channel as well.
Awesome. Did you want to jump in on that question, Ashley?
Sure, yeah. So I think we likely have pretty close similarities in how we structure our partner program with Postscript. Mm-hmm. I think we've got a couple of nuances in terms of additional opportunities. So like Postscript, we work with agencies and technology providers, but being a consumer-facing brand, the Trustpilot brand mark does serve as a trust indicator, which can be a great conversion tool for many websites and brands. And so therefore we have a great alliance with websites that are more like comparison sites, where they may list multiple brands and use their Trustpilot scores of those companies to help direct users towards trustworthy businesses. So we call that our syndication partner network.
Awesome. Yeah, I figured things would be a little bit similar on each of the platform sides. So Rich, can you maybe elaborate what you guys do in addition to what they do at Postscript and Trustpilot, and maybe what you do a little bit differently at Klaviyo?
Sure. Yeah. As Ashley said, lots of alignment in how we structure these things, probably across the industry. I'd say that one thing that we try to do at Klaviyo, and I think we're a work in progress, but trying to get better, is to really take an ecosystem approach to partnerships. And everyone uses the term ecosystem, but what I mean specifically is how are we creating connections across types of partners? So how are we putting agencies and tech partners and investors all together in the same event or the same kind of content that we're producing? The reason for that is looking at them in silos, I think, loses a lot of the network effect for merchants, for brands, that comes from thinking about an ecosystem. And so that's an area of focus for us here, and one that I hope that we get better and better at over time.
Awesome. Thank all three of you for that overview on sort of the platform channel side of things. You know, a lot of us work with similar partners. Each of you guys are constant partners of ours that we at Hawke connect with on a near daily basis. Jason, can you tell us a little bit more on the Very side of things, on the brand side, how you guys work with partners, what type of partners they might be, and what takeaways some of the brands listening might have and what they can implement?
Yeah, I think, for us, we've got so many impact that's happening with the boots on the ground. So we're leveraging our partnerships even with like third-party logistics companies, third-party installation groups that are actually installing the product. And actually with this whole shock that's happened to the system, really leaning into them on these partnerships. So leaning on Havas from a planning standpoint, Hawke and some other creative agencies to help us redo our messaging to say, hey, it's not about the corporate workspace of the future. It's about, hey, how do we short-term address this work from home issue? And so leaning into those partnerships, from the physical ones to the technology ones, that help us elevate our brand and get closer to our customers and fans out there.
Awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. So yeah, that's kind of like an overview of how each of the programs are set up. So obviously, as everyone has already mentioned on this, the course of the day of programming today, we are living in extraordinary times. This situation has disrupted everything. I'd love to hear from you guys and gals a little bit how the current situation has impacted your specific businesses and how partnerships has come into play, how you've leveraged them, if it's been different in any way than business as usual, and what sort of things you're seeing on that side. So maybe we could start with Rich.
Yeah, sure. I agree. These are very unusual times, and I think the first thing I'd say is that from Klaviyo's corporate perspective, we're cautiously optimistic about our business. I think that there's no denying that certain customers are suffering, certain categories of customers are suffering. Then other categories of customers are actually doing quite well with sales because of the product that they happen to sell. So it is a bit of a mix in terms of our customer base, and it really goes category by category, maybe even geography by geography. But from a Klaviyo perspective, I'd say we're cautiously optimistic. What are we trying to do differently, I think, or how have partners come into play specifically? The first thing we did when this all started to evolve a few weeks ago, the first thing we did was to think about our team first, our employees. Are they safe? Do they have what they need to work from home? Is everybody comfortable with what was becoming a new work normal? Then we thought about our merchants, our customers. What are we doing to help customers who are trying to figure out what the heck is going on right now? Our partners play a key role in that. Our partners are experts. They're experts at a lot of other things, certainly that I am. And so plugging our agency partners and tech partners into content that we were producing on what merchants should be thinking about and communicating with their customers was a key focus for us, has been and still is a key focus for us over the last couple of weeks. It's not that we had never done that before, but I think the urgency with which we were doing it, the frequency with which we were trying to be helpful by bringing partners to our merchants, I think that changed.
Awesome. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of things have to change and be dynamic at this time. Claire, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you guys have been doing at Postscript and how partnerships have come into play there?
Yeah, definitely. So we're seeing some interesting things. SMS is a very conversational channel, and a number of our customers do use it as such. So we're seeing their conversations happening via text messages switch to be about COVID. So an example of that is we have a customer named Judy. Her website is readyjudy.com, and she's actually messaging out tips around how to stay healthy, how to reduce anxiety. And because customers can respond to text so naturally, you can see in the responses just like the utmost gratitude to be talking to a brand in this very personal way, and not just using it as a sales channel right now. On the partner side of things as well, we really want our customers to be able to afford to continue working with our marketing agencies because they are experts and they're going to help drive more revenue for brands right now. So we did create a special offer for shops that are interested in working with agency partners to get an extended free trial to Postscript, with the idea being that during that time, hopefully you can generate a little extra revenue to be put towards other tech solutions that will make your brand stronger, or to work toward with a marketing agency like Hawke.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm sure a lot of people watching really appreciate that. So be sure to share the link to that offer in our Slack community. And for everyone else who's tuned in, be sure to submit questions to us on Twitter, #QCon, just tweet them out, or Slack them in our general channel or the specific channel for this panel in our community. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you, Jason, if partnerships have changed at this time at all. I'm assuming there's probably been some shifts, and what you guys are seeing on your end in the sense of how to leverage partnerships in this particular time. I know you guys have done a little bit more above and beyond business as usual, so I'd love to hear more about that. And I'm sure
we've since day one have been giving back a lot. So I think immediately we noticed there was opportunities out there, and whether it's all the moms out there and dads and teachers and kids at home, so we started sending free school desks out there to kids that might need them or people that are starting to post stuff out there. And for the first time ever, we've done discounting on our website. We had never offered a discount. We treat our brand as a premium brand. And so for the first time ever, we've started that, and we'll actually test a TV campaign this weekend with a direct response initiative there. So immediately reacting and providing and leaning in. And I think like y'all were talking about all day today, really leading with empathy and love and people as we start to really, there's been such a demand shock on the system and so many jobs lost out there. So where can we have a positive impact on this work from home initiative? And now we're starting to actually talk to clients about what is the new norm going to be as we start to get back to the workspace of the future.
Definitely. That makes a lot of sense. Ashley, can you tell us a little bit more, back to the original question, how has COVID impacted Trustpilot, and, how has partnerships come into play, to help maybe mitigate any negative impact you guys have seen, and in any other way you're leveraging partnerships in a unique sense at this time?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Jason is a tough act to follow, giving away free desks to teachers. But for Trustpilot, we've definitely seen a shift in terms of our industry focuses, being that some are being more heavily impacted than others. We, are trying to take a look at, with that shift, who are the partners that are most appropriate to help support those industries and that customer base. So like PostScript, we are extending files for businesses that are interested in using our services, but we're also aligning with partners that are best of breed in category to help companies that are potentially moving their entire business model from a brick and mortar operation over into e-commerce. So more to come on, who those partners are and what those offers might be, but aligning through marketing, events, content, and mutual offers as well.
Yeah, that's great. Does anyone else have anything interesting to add as to how the current situation has impacted their business specifically, and how partnerships maybe have shifted at this time?
Yeah, I think it's been interesting to really, if you go out there and listen to your fan base, and I think all of y'all are starting to do that, it's amazing how much information, because I think we're all feeling such a shock that's happened from a pain standpoint. But by listening and being a part of that, and us all working together to be a part of the solution, I think we're actually going to come out of this a lot stronger than we ever imagined from a business community and really as citizens of the world. So I get great hope every time I talk to our fans, and they're powering through this. So it's been awesome.
Awesome.
And yeah, I do have to say, like, I'm really impressed by how much all of the partners and folks in the marketing space are really coming together to do things like sharing their data or their insights to help advise both the partner networks and their customer bases with intel to help them drive better decision making, where they should be investing their marketing, what tactics they could be deploying, what content they could be publishing. And we've been inviting our partners to come in for what we're labeling as Fireside Fridays to educate our internal teams on some of those statistics so that they can be more consultative on their calls with their customers as well.
Awesome. Yeah, we're really looking forward at Hawke to taking part in one of those Fireside Fridays coming up. To a point that you mentioned about sharing data that you've seen data across the ecosystem to help others. Rich, I know you guys at Klaviyo have done a lot with that. You've been surveying people, you've been collecting the information and sharing it more broadly for people to leverage. Can you tell us more about that initiative?
Yeah, sure. Internally, we call it Operation Lighthouse, but basically what that means is we've pulled together a lot of internal resources, basically our entire marketing team, my time, time from our data science team and others at the business, to really focus on providing value in the form of information to merchants and frankly partners and anybody else in the world who's looking to make sense of what's going on right now. The way we're doing that is we have 32,000 customers, so we have some data that we can draw on just from our customer base in an aggregated way so that it's anonymized. But we've also been launching daily surveys, pulse surveys of both merchants and consumers. And over the course of, I want to say the last 12 days or so, we probably have close to 2,000 responses to those pulse surveys. What we're able to do every day is publish. We do this on our website, Klaviyo.com, and there's a link to a COVID-19 resources page. We publish insights from those daily surveys. They're not really Klaviyo's insights. We don't own them. They're insights that are coming from the data. We'll publish them out via the website. We publish them out via video every day, and then we'll do some long form content. So this is one example actually of how partners have helped out with this. One of the topics many of us have been seeing over and over again as a pain point for merchants is supply chain disruption, fulfillment disruption. Speaking for myself, I'm not a supply chain expert. So when I was writing a piece on what's actually happening, I called on our friends at ShipBob, one of our partners. I called on our friends at Brex to help me understand small business financing and what was going on with the government funding plan. So anyway, I say all of this because I do think it is the cornerstone of what Klaviyo has been trying to do to bring value back to the community during this time.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we've seen a lot of that across the ecosystem, and outside of the e-commerce world, outside of the marketing world, we've seen that across the world with people just banding together throughout their communities trying to help each other. But yeah, I know, Claire, I think there's more at Postscript that you guys are doing within the industry as well to help people out in that way. I believe you guys have a jobs board. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that as well?
Yeah, certainly. To continue the ecosystem conversation, we wanted our response to COVID to really be something that could help customers, partners, and their extended networks as well. So as we saw what happened in the first couple of weeks of COVID, it was apparent that unemployment was just becoming a bigger and bigger issue. But fortunately, there really are a ton of e-commerce tech companies, agencies, and brands out there still hiring. So we figured if we can play a little bit of matchmaking for our industry, that could have a pretty big impact. So we did launch a job board for e-com. If you're on LinkedIn, it's hashtag D2C, the number 4 hire. But we also wanted to use this tool we have at hand, literally at hand, our phones. So you can also text hire me to 72599. We're not going to spam you this entirely free board. It's really for you if you're looking for a job to get updates of what's being posted there. I'll put all of this in the Slack channel too as well. But yeah, we really want to help get our community back to work as quickly as possible.
Wow, yeah, that's really incredible. Obviously, there are a lot of people that are struggling right now, a lot of people that have been unexpectedly laid off. So any help that any of us can give them is phenomenal. I know I've seen a couple people within the Slack community even today saying on the brand side, I know someone was looking for a COO that they shared earlier in our QCon community. If anyone else is looking for help or work, I think they should share that with the community there too. I think those are good connections to make here. Usually in person at conferences, you might be going around in groups of people and introducing yourself and handing out your business card. And, we can't do that right now since we're all shelter in place and in self-quarantine. So, find a buddy in the Slack group, introduce yourself, direct message someone, see if you can start a thread. We're just trying to bring people together here. And I think any special offer that any of us can give to anyone is helpful too. And it's really cool that you guys have leveraged, like you said, literally the technology that you have at hand to pull off that community effort. Ashley, I know you guys are also giving a special offer to try and help brands out. Did you want to tell us a little bit more about that so people could maybe take advantage of that too on the brand side?
Sure, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we are offering extended trials to brands that are interested in using our services. But what I think is even more interesting is that being a customer review platform, we naturally have people coming to write reviews about their experiences with brands. And if you go to our homepage on trustpilot.com, you'll actually see those reviews coming across in a stream, like coming in live. So what we're noticing is that there's actually people that are naturally coming there to highlight brands that went the extra mile during this crisis. And so we're going to be kicking off a campaign providing the opportunity for you as the author of that review to check off a box saying that you want to highlight or give a special shout out to that company. And so we have a shout out section on our website that's going to be pulling in those kind of COVID-19 success stories to highlight the businesses that are going the extra mile.
Awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. That makes a lot of sense. I like, again, the way you're leveraging the existing product that you have to pull that off. We had a question come in from the community, and the question is, can anyone share a story where there was unforeseen benefits of this existing, pandemic and situation that we're all going through that actually made a partnership stronger than ever. Does anyone have an example of that they'd like to share with the group?
Yeah, we've got a tremendous relationship with the federal government, and even you can see the product over my shoulder, the walls on this side are actually now being deployed for the temporary hospital rooms out there at these convention centers. Had no idea that our product could be used that way. We have the relationships. People reached out and said, could you help in some way? And so again, just having those relationships and trust built in, and why not? And it's something that's just going to provide a new way for us to think about helping in the future for other issues like this.
Wow, that's absolutely phenomenal. You create a product, you launch a brand, and you have one idea in concept for it, and then years later to see it come to fruition like that in a critical time for mankind. I mean, that's a very powerful story to tell. We've had a lot of more questions come in through the community as well. It seems like a lot of people are starting out and they're wondering how to sort of start. Where do I start? How do I leverage partnerships for my brand if I haven't before? And what is the single most important messaging you're including when building new partnerships? So if anyone can speak to building up and creating a partnership program, maybe Rich, would you like to take it away?
Sure, I'm sure there are lots of perspectives on this call, but I'll just start us off. I think that the way I started is I thought about what is the mutual value proposition that together we are bringing to a customer. And you need to be able to say that in like a sentence or two. Both partners need to be able to say it and have it feel really compelling. Obviously, without that, then why spend the time and energy? So that's really where I start. There are other like go-to-market things I would think about, like how do we complement each other's customer bases, et cetera, et cetera. But you have to start with what is the joint value proposition, in my view.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. At Hawke, we're always trying to look for holistic relationships that are a two-way street that sort of make sense for everyone. At the end of the day, drive the best results for our clients. So that actually led into someone else's question, which was specifically how to talk about creating fruitful partnerships that aren't transactional. So if anyone has additional insight to share on, how to build out that program and make it non-transactional, now is the time. We only have 3 minutes left.
Yeah, I think another way we work closely with our partners at Postscript is through transparency into our product and making sure we're building what's helpful to them as well. So we actually have a product roadmap that's visible within our app, and we let customers come in there and partners come in there and upvote and downvote things, leave comments on why it's important to them. And we're using that every day to make decisions on where we should go with our product. So that's a very non-transactional way to help us decide what to build.
Awesome. Ashley, did you have anything to add? You guys have a pretty robust program, and you also sit across the Americas. If you need to think about it a little bit, I can add some color maybe. So I've been in the partnership world in e-commerce for, well over 5 years on the agency side, although I've been with Hawke a much shorter time. And I'm often at the point where I'm either building the program from scratch or it's trying to scale it up. So one of the things that I always do is try and find that natural fit where it just makes sense for everyone. Instead of just trying to go and sell someone hard on what they can do for me, I go to them with maybe offering up a connection, even to another partner that could be interesting for them to help build out their program more. And I kind of approach it as a connector myself, whether or not there's anything in it for me or Hawke, just because it's a natural way of just building your ecosystem and viewing it that way, as opposed to viewing it as just maybe referrals or lead sourcing, one-off. Perhaps you guys see it the same way.
Yeah, I think the other thing is I've just been in talks with CEOs that are experiencing a lot of the stress and pressure because you've got so many families' lives counting on your decisions you make. And so to be able to reach out to that network of other leaders and share how we're having daily communication, sharing emails that we're talking about, is just another way. It's just to get us all through this period together and know that we're all in this together and our teams are as well.
Totally. It's all about adding value. Unfortunately, that's our time. If anyone else has questions regarding partnerships, please share them in the Slack and continue to collaborate and communicate with each other. I wanted to really thank each and every one of you today for your time and taking part here, especially, Trustpilot, Klaviyo, Postscript, and Very. Today would not have been possible without each of you guys sponsoring and bringing this content to the community. So thank you for doing that and taking the time out of your days.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Bye-bye.